Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to F1 2020 My Team Career Mode Season 3 Round 10, the Italian Grand Prix. And yeah, this is going to be a very short episode. It is Italy. It's the fastest track on the calendar. Probably one of my favourite tracks on the Italian calendar. I'll probably go and say it's... I can't really have like multiple favourite tracks, but I do, so deal with it. Probably like joint third or... Yeah, I've got like 3 or 4 favourite tracks because, you know, I'm like that, I guess. Anyway, we move on to Q3, doing our banker lap. Is a 1 minute 15.8, which is good enough for P2, only 3 tenths behind our teammate, and now going into the final run of Q3. We're going to try and get pole from Daniel. Daniel, I've noticed, he doesn't go out at the end of Q3. Whether he saves a set of softs for the race or he burns his softs in Q1, I do not know. But he never goes out. He always ever does one run at the start of Q3. So it's a very interesting strategy decision by Daniel. So anyway, we're currently up by nearly half a second on our previous best lap time. Obviously we're on fresh softs at the moment. We've kept a set of softs for the race once again, just in case, you know, safety car comes out. And going through up to Ascari now, we are nearly 6 tenths up on Daniel's best lap time. So it looks like we are actually going to get pole here, as the gap is 4 tenths at the moment between me and Daniel. We're improving by 8 tenths, nearly 8.5 tenths as we head towards Parabolic at the final corner. Good braking, nice rotation with the car, and we get on the power as early as possible. We get a very nice exit, and we're going to cut across to the right hand side, get the shortest, straightest run to the line, and it's going to be a nearly 1 second improvement, and that's going to be 14.8, I think, which is absolutely insane. You know, in 3 seasons we've improved by 4 seconds on what, you know, we normally see. Yeah, 14.8 is absolutely insane. I'd love to know what the average speed, or I could work out the average speed actually of that lap time, but I'm not going to, because it takes far too much effort. So anyway, yeah, very decent qualifying. We are ahead of Daniel. Hopefully we can convert that pole into a race win, get our championship back on form, as we have lost out to Daniel in the past 2 races at Britain and Belgium. So hopefully this can be another turning point once again in the season, and we can get back on form and pull some points over Daniel this time.
Here at the beloved and iconic Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. With the lowest downforce and drag of any circuit in the season, expect to see drivers making the most of the slipstream effect here today. With top speeds reaching 215 miles per hour, only a few places can challenge Monza's crown as the fastest circuit in F1. Hard braking zones going into the 3 chicanes make up the majority of the 11 corners on this 3.6-mile circuit. And just in case the slipstream wasn't enough, 2 DRS zones will help encourage some closer action. With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Red lines up on pole position, and P2 goes to Daniel Ricciardo. A strong showing from the Australian. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Albon, Ocon, Valtteri Bottas, and Kvyat, Matsushita, Sainz, Aitken, and Sergio Perez. Gasly, Stroll, Lewis Hamilton, and Magnussen, Giovinazzi, Russell, Lando Norris, and Charles Leclerc, Verstappen, Grosjean, Latifi, and Nick de Vries. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
So here we are lining up for the start of the Italian Grand Prix. We're starting on the mediums and then going on to the softs. Pretty simple strategy. I was actually contemplating doing the 2-stop, but I'm not going to. Not yet, anyway. Yeah, I'm going to make a really bad decision in this race. I worked out what the average speed was for that qualifying lap, 173.7 miles an hour, which is pretty insane. Anyway, 5 red lights, and it's lights out and away we go. We get a pretty poor initial launch, but then the second phase, or like the it's a little bit better latter first phase than Daniel is, but Daniel obviously using a lot of overtake, maybe got a bit better straight line speed to try and close on us. Luckily we have the more flowing run through turn 1, and we managed to keep hold of the lead. Albon's managed to get his way up into third, so he's had a very good start from him to either get up there or hold on to his position. Daniel's looking back at us going into the Roger, but luckily we're going to hold our position through there. But we bounce over, we do the bunny hop over the second part of the corner, so we're going to lose a position to Daniel here. Might even lose a position to Albon, but we're trying to hang around the outside, and luckily we do. So that was rather annoying there that we lost out to Daniel. And we're going to have to try and reel him back in. But as we move on to the next clip here, lap 11, we didn't really reel him in. I mean, we could have pushed to overtake him, but I didn't really want to do that. I wanted to save fuel in ERS. And we're going to perform the undercut here. So we're going to go onto a set of the soft tyres. This is actually quite early. I've elected now to do the 2-stop. For reasons I'm still figuring out, like a few weeks later after doing this race. I don't know why I did it, especially with Daniel 2 seconds in the lead. But hopefully the superior speed of the softs and myself can get us closer to Daniel. As you can see, at the end of lap 12, Daniel is in, and I assume for a set of hards. Yes, it is a set of hards. So another interesting strategy decision by him, and this is definitely going to affect him. Whilst Italy doesn't have really high tyre wear, tyre life does come into it massively. And as you can see, I'm undercutting by like 3 seconds there. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, as on lap 21 we've extended these softs a little longer than what we needed to. We're going to come into the pits, put on a new set of soft tyres, and we're going to have to gain back maybe 9 to 10 seconds on Daniel, which is going to be tough, as there isn't really that many laps. Now, it was a bit of a stupid decision by me to do this, because it would work at a track like Belgium, or a track that has like a lot of laps but also a long lap. But with this, you know, the fastest laps is 16.2. We literally didn't have enough laps or enough distance to catch up to Ricardo, and that's the race. Literally, that is it. It's like 4 minutes of time, but yeah, I mean, we could have won that. I reckon it'd been very close to the end with my tyre wear. Well, I know, because I'd have stayed out longer, so I don't know. It'd have been interesting to see what the race would have actually done, but I decided to do the 2-stop, and that turned out to be a strategic mistake. But luckily, we've only lost the minimum amount of points of what we could have. So, a really stupid decision by me. I threw that race massively, and that could have very big implications for the championship later on.
Tell me, Alex, how did they manage to achieve this win?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
The faces on our top 3 look so incredibly happy as they make their way up to the podium. A much-deserved victory and a brilliant performance from them all.
So as you can see, another pretty dominant drive. In the course of 36 minutes, we were able to pull 28 seconds on Albon, myself and Ricardo. I don't really know why I decided to pit twice. It would have worked, I guess, if I'd have pitted a lap earlier, but the issue I was facing was the softs could have made it to the end, but I would have been pushing around 75% to 80% on my tyre wear, and that's not really something I wanted to do, as we're only 12 points ahead of Ricardo now in the Drivers' Championship. But I was constantly gaining half a second to 3/4 of a second on Ricardo on my old softs compared to his hards. So I was sort of damned if you do, damned if you don't from making that initial pit stop. Whether if I'd have stretched my mediums to like lap 15 and then gone on to softs, whether, you know, I'd have still won, or whether I would have actually won that race, or it'd have been really close, Who knows? I guess we'll have to figure that out in Season 4. But overall, I'm not happy with my performance this race. I made a stupid decision, and it's made the championship closer than it needs to be. That could have been an easy race where I pick up... what would it be? An extra 8 points over Ricciardo. So the gap would be... what would it be? I don't know, maybe like 25 to 26 points, I reckon. But we've lost out, and that's through no fault of anyone else. It's just my fault. Anyway, we're gonna have to move on, pick ourselves up from that race, and hopefully perform better in Singapore, which I'm feeling very confident about because I know I will have a massive strategic advantage when it comes to Singapore because the AI do not like qualifying on mediums, although Daniel has shown a tendency to qualify on mediums. So I might have a tougher time with things come that race. But that will be next episode. At the moment, we're just doing the typical housekeeping thing. As I said last episode, we are going to be saving our resource points in the off chance that we have another inter-season regulation change. I want to make sure that I've got around 6,000 to 7,000 resource points to basically make our car as good as it can be going forward into Season 4. But that was this episode. Very short one. There's nothing much really happened. It's a fast track, and when the car's this quick, there's very rarely anything actually put in the videos because nothing much really happens. But yeah, if you did enjoy this episode, please do leave a like, share, and subscribe. Can we get an F in the comments for my my strategic decision making? That race nearly as bad as Mr. Binotto's in FTR. Shout out to you, who is the Season 2 FTR champion. Just thought I'd throw that in there, even though this isn't an FTR video. And congratulations to him. Hopefully you can pass some pace over to me for this these last few races of career mode. There's only 6 races to go, I think. And the championship is definitely heating up, so hopefully we can have a good run of races and pick up the championship.